Okay, good afternoon everybody and welcome to this media conference from St George's Park with Harry Kane. We'll shortly open the floor here to questions, starting with Rob Dorsey from Sky Sports News, and we also have members join us on Zoom, which hopefully we'll have time to go to at the end of the call. Rob, before we do start, Harry's got a few words to say.
Yeah, I just wanted to send my condolences to Paul Jiggins and obviously Paul Jiggins' family. Obviously Paul followed me at Millwall, England under 21s. At Tottenham, obviously I know a lot of you in this room would have known him as well. So just from me and obviously all the team, just to send our condolences to his friends and family.
Harry, thanks for doing that. Our viewers, I think, joined you a fraction late, but you were paying tribute there to one of our colleagues, Paul Jiggins, who sadly passed away. So thank you for doing that.
No problem.
Harry, let me ask you first about the squad. Lots of changes again, and 3 new faces. Let me ask you specifically about Tyrick Mitchell, Mark Gay and Carl Walker-Peters. How have they settled in? How's the captain's view of those 3 new guys?
No, it's great. It's great to have obviously new faces in the squad, young faces. I feel like I'm getting older and older by the minute. But yeah, it's great to see them. Obviously, I know Carl from when he was at Spurs. Great lad, works really hard. I think he's done really well at Southampton. And yeah, obviously Marc and Tyrick, good to see them. We've had a couple of training sessions now. They look like they're settling in well, enjoying it. So yeah, really, really good for the squad. Obviously good for the country to have young players coming through. So excited to kind of see them over the next week or so.
It's World Cup year, obviously. 3 training camps before the World Cup in Qatar. With that in mind, there's no spare time, is there? I wonder whether you sense the expectation, the pressure, maybe the competition for places. Do you sense that hotting up around training and around the camp?
Yeah, I think so. I think whenever there's a major tournament in the year, obviously every camp becomes really, really important. And as you said there, we haven't got many chances together from now until the start of the World Cup. So obviously you can do as much as you can for your club and try and impress the manager and the staff when you're playing for your clubs. But when you're here, every training session matters, every game that you play matters, and you're trying to show that you deserve to be in that team, and we have great competition for places in every position. So it's great to see, and we're excited for hopefully another big year.
Look, there was a lot of speculation about your club future going into England's last major tournament. This next World Cup is sandwiched in between 2 transfer windows, the summer window and the winter window. I wonder whether you feel that you need to have your long-term future secured in the summer so that there's no disruption in the World Cup for you.
Yeah, I mean, obviously my main focus is just finishing this season first and foremost, and we're still in a competition for top 4, and that's where my focus lies. You know, I can't control what's going to happen in the future. Obviously, it's a big year for everyone, not just me. I want to be going into that tournament in the best form possible. So, yeah, it's just about controlling what I can control, and that's doing what I've been doing on the pitch over the last few months. And yeah, it's important over the summer just to stay focused on that, and yeah, look forward to what will be a fantastic tournament.
You talk about your form there, and look, I wonder whether you look at this tournament in Qatar and think you're going to be absolutely at your peak at that point. I mean, you've been to a World Cup and won the Golden Boot. You've been to the final of a Euros as well now. You'll be 29 in Qatar. With the way you're playing for your club, with the way you're playing for your country, do you think you'll be absolutely at your peak? Is this the one that you think you'll look back on after you've finally retired and gone, yeah, I was at my best then?
Well, it depends what happens. It depends if I score no goals or I end up winning another Golden Boot and hopefully winning the World Cup. So, no, of course, we've had some... I've had a poor tournament with our country back in 2016. I've had a great World Cup in terms of a team, getting to a semi-final, and then obviously a final in the Euro. So the last 2 major tournaments especially have been a real great experience and memories that I'll keep with me forever. But as always, we look forward to the next one, and it's going to be a massive World Cup, and I'm excited to be on that stage again. I know the players are excited to be out there, and there's no bigger stage than playing for your country in a World Cup. So really looking forward to that. I think obviously we have expectations of ourselves now. I think the fans have expectations of ourselves, and hopefully we can keep pushing. You know, we've come really close over the last few years, and it's important to try and push as hard as we can to get over that line.
Look, really difficult issues around Qatar and the human rights discussions that surround that country and that are surrounded ever since we knew the World Cup was going there, in truth. And the manager's been asked about it a lot, Harry, and he said he would use this camp to talk to you as players, as a squad, and get some sort of unified response. Gareth made it clear to us last week that he's educated himself. He thinks he understands what the key issues are. Have you had that meeting? How did it go? What was said?
Yeah, so we had that meeting last night. I think it was important to talk with the manager and the staff and the players. Obviously, we wanted to qualify for the World Cup before doing that, and we've done that. So it's our first chance to have that chat. And obviously, Gareth led that meeting, and we spoke about what to expect and obviously some of the important issues that are surrounding the World Cup. And I think for us now as players, it's important to talk amongst ourselves, not just this camp, but the camps going forward as well in June. And I feel like as a group, we've never shied away from important issues, and we've always had our opinions, and we've always tried to show unity in anything we've done. So that's what will happen now over this camp and the next camps, and to try and help in any way we can to support those issues.
Can I ask you for your opinion specifically as England captain? I mean, look, the manager said last week that a big chunk of the England support may feel very uncomfortable about travelling to Qatar. You know, members of the LGBTQ plus community in particular. As England captain, what do you say about that? Is it right that the biggest sporting event in the world is staged in circumstances like that?
Yeah, look, I mean, it's important to understand that, first of all, as players, we didn't choose where this World Cup was going to be. But what it has done is raised it's shone a light on important issues that might not have come to light if the World Cup wasn't there. So, we have to try and help as much as possible to understand the issues and the situations where we're no experts in that field at the moment in terms of what we know. But like I just touched on there, I think as always we try and help in any way we can. We try and use our platform to help in any way we can. I understand that there's been some progress on certain issues in the country so far. So what my hope is that having the World Cup there and having this light on the country will help try and progress some of the issues that have obviously been going on for a long time.
Thanks, Harry. One sec.
Cheers.
Let's go to Alex Howe from BBC.
Hi Harry, just
Hi.
to follow up on that, we've seen other international teams and players make a stand before games. Have you spoken about that in the team? Is that something we could see the England team do?
Yeah, I mean, it's not something that we've had deep discussions about. Obviously, we had the meeting last night. That was the first we kind of spoke about it. So I think over this camp and the next camp, we'll talk about what we can do. I think maybe even, obviously myself, there's a couple of other national captains in my team at Tottenham, or maybe talking to other national team captains to see if we can be unified in what we try and do and how we try and approach it. That's something that obviously myself and some of the senior players in the team will look to try and achieve over the next coming months.
And in the group you had the session, were the issues more complicated than you thought yourself? Did you learn a lot in that session?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it was a meeting that lasted probably 30 minutes or so, and there were some issues that were raised. I think what we'll probably do now is to send over information amongst the squad so people have information and people can learn about it even more, and then individuals can take to their own advice if they want to learn even more about it and try and understand it even more. So like I said, it's an important issue. There's obviously still a lot of progress to be made, but hopefully all of us, like we have done in the past, can try and help make change with the platforms that we have.
These two games are friendlies, but in a World Cup year, what has Gareth said about the importance of these games?
Yeah, I think every game you play for England is important, especially in a major tournament year. Like we touched on earlier, there's not a lot of camps, there's not a lot of games from now until that first World Cup game. So it's important to try different formations, different tactics. Obviously, playing against tough opposition. So using these games to really understand how we want to approach the World Cup. Obviously, it'll be down to the manager on how he decides to pick the team and whether to rotate players or not. But I think just every training session we have, every game we have, just making sure that we take the most out of it, win or lose, just making sure that we're doing everything we can to prepare ourselves well for what's going to be a really difficult World Cup.
You're getting closer and closer to the goal scoring record. Have you asked to play these games?
No, obviously, as you all know, I want to play as many games as possible. But look, I'll be ready whether I'm playing both games, one game. Obviously, that record's there and it's close, and I'd love to obviously to break it, and hopefully this year with the games we have, that'll be possible. So I'm feeling fit, I'm feeling in a really good place. So whatever game, if called upon, I'll be ready to play. And
finally, there's a lot of young players in this team and players with not many caps. How would you welcome those players into the camp?
Yeah, I mean, it's fairly easy. I feel we've created a culture now as a team, so for any young player coming into the team, it's easy for them to settle in. The bottom line is that we work hard, we train really well, and when we're off the pitch, we enjoy each other's company and allow each other to be free. And I guess my role as captain is to get to know these young players, these new players, understand them as people and humans first and foremost, on and off the pitch. So yeah, that's what I'll try and do, and I've done that now since I've been captain over the last 5 years or so, 4 or 5 years, and it's important not just me but other senior players do that as well. So when you go onto the pitch, you know who you're playing with.
Kerry?
Harry, 2 matches and then the World Cup draw. Gareth Southgate talks a lot about going into major tournaments and watching the highlights reels, and England aren't featured in them. You will be now going into this draw in Qatar because you're World Cup semi-finalists, European finalists. Does that make you proud, or does that just scream unfinished business?
A bit of both, to be honest. Obviously, I think from where we were pre-World Cup 2018 to where we are now, we've made massive strides with the squad, with the team, with the connection with the fans, and so yeah, there's definitely an expectation on us now, and obviously the final in the summer still hurts. It still has a bit of taste in the mouth, so for sure it gives you more hunger, more fire in the belly to hopefully try and achieve that one step further and win a major tournament. So we're working towards that. We feel like we've been improving every year, and this year's no different. So hopefully we can really take big strides into becoming one of the best teams in the history of the England national team.
Who do you see are the biggest rivals to beat to win the World Cup?
Well, I mean, there's some great teams, obviously, from Europe. You have France, Germany, Spain, obviously South America. You have Brazil, Argentina. You have all the top nations who have been there or thereabouts in World Cups for many, many years. So, as we've learned over the last kind of couple of campaigns, there's no easy game. You know, every major tournament, every tournament game for England is a tough one, and we've got to make sure that we're ready for that.
One of the big teams you could face in that draw is Germany. How big a marker was that win over them in the European Championships, because they've been the old enemy, haven't they?
Yeah, I think it was massive. I think it was great for our confidence, beating a big nation in a knockout game. I think it was fantastic for the fans, who we've all obviously suffered a lot of heartache over the years against Germany. So it was definitely nice to get that win, and in a high pressure situation. So that'll give us confidence going into this World Cup. But whoever we get in our group, we know it's going to be difficult, but we back ourselves against anyone, and I guess we'll look forward to having that challenge when it comes.
And another team that you've experienced both World Cup and European challenges against, Croatia. Does that show your growth as a team, do you think, over 2 tournaments?
Yeah, I think so. Obviously, the World Cup semi-final was a real disappointment to lose that game. But then since then, I feel like we've progressed, and obviously we've managed to beat them on a couple of occasions now in the Nations League, and obviously in the European Championship. So we're always learning, we're always improving. Obviously, new players coming in the squad. I've been watching those games over the years, and they've been watching those major tournaments, so they know kind of what it's been like to be an England player. So it's important that we use all that information to try and take steps forward, which we're on the right track to do.
And looking to your discussion as well, you wore the rainbow armband in the match against Germany alongside Manuel Neuer. It was Pride Month. How important is it for you to know that the England fans from the LGBT plus community will be able to go and be safe and support their team throughout? They will be able to hold up the rainbow flag in matches. It's not a political symbol as it's seen in Qatar. The organisers have said that the LGBT plus community will be welcome. How important is that for the fans, the England fans, to know that that will be the case?
Yeah, I think it's really important. I think as a nation we want our fans to enjoy the tournament as much as hopefully we enjoy the tournament, and we want them to feel safe and to feel free to watch the games how they please and to act as if they want to act. And it's really important that like I touched on earlier, the discussions are being had and hopefully progress is being made, because football is for all, football is for everyone, and the World Cup's a great opportunity to show that, and there's no bigger stage, and Qatar will obviously be on that big stage and the light will be shone on them, and we want to be coming away after that World Cup with everyone having a really amazing experience.
And how are you starting to envision a World Cup in Qatar now in November, in the winter months, but in the sunshine? Can you get excited about it yet?
Yeah, I mean, it'll be different, of course. It'll be strange. Obviously the last, I guess, 8-10 years of my career, the winter months have been slogging it out in the Premier League, and so to be in a hot country and get a little tan over maybe November and December will be nice, but it'll be different. It'll be different for everyone. No one will be used to it. We're really looking forward to that experience, and like I keep saying, the World Cup for me is the biggest stage in the world. I've really enjoyed my time in 2018, and I'm really excited for what Qatar will bring.
Thanks, Harry.
Harry, you arrived here on a good run of form, and it sort of picked up when Antonio Conte came to Spurs. Is that a coincidence, or has he helped you?
No, I mean, I've touched on Antonio. He's a fantastic coach. Since he's come in, we got on really well. I think he brings his ideas to the game. He brings the way he wants me to play. He wants the strikers to play. So I've definitely learned, different aspects of my game under him. I feel like physically, I feel in a better place. You know, we train really hard. We work really hard every day, and I feel like I felt the benefits of that in how I feel physically and even mentally, with that mental sharpness. I'm in a really good place. I feel like I'm in good form, but as always, I feel I can keep improving. And Antonio is definitely a manager that will keep pushing you to your limits, and I enjoy having someone like that who's the manager.
You've spoken a lot with him. Surely your future has come up with him. Has he asked you to stay?
No, look, I'm not going to get into personal discussions between me and the manager. Our main focus, and since he come in, was to finish this season as well as possible. And like I touched on earlier, we have a big race for the top four, which is really important for the players, for the manager, for the club. These next 10 games is all I'm focused on, all the manager's focused on, and hopefully finishing as high as we can.
Okay, guys, wait, Joseph, we've got a couple more minutes, so the guys there for the questions will finish after you complete it. So carry on, Jason.
Yeah. Harry, can you hear me?
Yeah.
After your discussions last night on Qatar, just a very blunt question. Do you think it's right that the World Cup is being held in Qatar?
Well, look, it's a hard question to answer, if I'm totally honest. Like I touched on, it wasn't our decision. It was the decision of FIFA, and as players, all we can do is look forward to what is an amazing tournament. We hope that everything else around it can be, the issues around it can be resolved as well as possible. Obviously, we're not expecting everything to change overnight. These things take time. It's a different culture, it's a different religion. We as players, I guess it's a hard question to answer just yes or no. You know, we just have to do what we can, and I feel like we're going to do that, and we are doing that from now until the World Cup.
Just following on from that, Harry, is it fair to say that you've got conflicting emotions?
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously a World Cup is professionally one of the greatest tournaments I'll ever play in. So there's definitely that excitement of being there and experiencing that again. Like I said, 2018 was incredible for me, and I know all the other players for that was involved. But of course, there are some issues that you can't hide away from. So there's of course some conflicting emotions around it. But I guess for me and for our team is to control what we can control, and that's to make sure that we do what we can using our platforms to help in any way we can. But also still be excited for what's going to be a major tournament, and they don't come around often in your career. So definitely trying to balance that, and I guess that's an experience as a captain that I'll have to learn over this year, and like I said, the other senior players in the team will have to learn to cope with, and try and balance the two.
Thanks, Dave. Ian, and then we'll finish with Matt.
Just a kind of double question, Harry, really on the same subject. Do you feel it's a little unfair that FIFA have essentially placed people like yourselves and your teammates and Gareth and all the other competing nations in this position whereby between now and November, rightly or wrongly, you will be asked about this issue, you'll be asked about it while you're there. Is it fair that you're the guys who have to answer the questions? It's not FIFA answering the questions, it's you guys.
Yeah, I get your point. I guess I'd like to think that FIFA are doing everything possible as well to help resolve some of the issues surrounding Qatar. But yeah, look, it's a hard subject. I guess there's no right answer. Of course, you'd have to talk to FIFA if that's possible. But yeah, look, we're going to have to deal with it. We're going to have to cope with it as professional athletes. I feel like more and more we have a voice and people respect our voice, and it's important that we use that. So yeah, we're going to have to deal with it. The World Cup's going to be in Qatar in November, and like I touched on there, we have to find that balance of preparing and working hard on the training field and trying to win that World Cup, but also understanding that there's issues surrounding it that we can help in other ways. So
I think that is part of the fear, is that the World Cup will take place, and while the World Cup is on, certain rules in Qatar will be relaxed, and Qatar will appear a slightly different place than it really is. And then once the tournament moves out of town, everything just goes back to the way it was before. Would that be the worst thing that could happen? Because that wouldn't get any of us anywhere, really, would it?
No, I think any issues that we're trying to resolve are to resolve for forever. It's not just a quick fix. I think, like I touched on, that the fact that there is a light shining on Qatar will help the situation and help us talk about it, and having these conversations now are definitely useful. But then, yeah, it's important that those conversations carry on. It's similar to taking the knee. You know, it wasn't just something that we decided to do for a small amount of time. We want to continue that conversation. We want to keep showing our support, and I think that's been really important. So I guess the same thing will happen in Qatar, and after the tournament, it'll be important to keep talking about those issues and making sure that anything we do help or do improve is for the rest of the time, not just for a few months.
Finish with Matt.
Harry, you touched upon it earlier, and it always seems to be England at the focus of many of these things in terms of the rights and wrongs of where you go. But you mentioned earlier the international captains at Spurs, and thinking about it, you've got Hugo Lloris, captain of the world champions, Sonny, and then Gareth Bale, Christian Eriksen are all close friends. Do you think, have the group of you spoken about this already, and do you think that between you could perhaps have enough of a nucleus to get other captains along and perhaps give a stronger message globally? Yeah,
so we haven't spoken about it yet, but I think that's kind of the point I was trying to make over these next kind of weeks and months. It's definitely a conversation that I think we should have, because I feel like definitely when you're together as nations and you have that unity and you have that nucleus of captains or countries that are all striving towards the same thing, it definitely sends a bigger message. So it's something that I'll try and do, and like I say, we have some big leaders in the Tottenham team for the national sides. I know good friends around, obviously, like you mentioned there with Gareth and Christian. So I guess my responsibility will to talk to them and try and try and show awareness all together, and I think that will send a bigger and more powerful message.
And that's not something you're frightened of taking on, in a big football year for yourself?
No, I mean, like I touched on earlier, I think it's part of being a responsibility of a captain. Whether we like it or not, we're in. There's going to be questions asked. There's going to be questions about what we're doing about it, and look, as a leader in not just this team but in my club team as well, it's important to talk about these things and not hide away from it. So and I know for sure the other lads will be happy to be talking about it as well, and they'll be trying to do everything that I'm trying to do. So let's see what happens. Like I say, we'll talk about it over the next few weeks and months, and hopefully we can make a real impact.
Okay, thanks all. We'll conclude it there, and sorry to disappoint those of you joining us on Zoom.